You wake up every morning carried by the dead, not metaphorically. Inside your chest beats a heart tuned by 100,000 winters your ancestors barely survived. And somewhere in the cold ground of Europe lies a cousin who was stronger than you, smarter than you suspect, and gone. You are here. They are not. The reason why is one of the strangest stories science has ever uncovered. Picture the Neanderthal. For a century the word has meant brute, but the bones say otherwise. They had brains as large as yours, sometimes larger. They made tools, controlled fire, buried their dead, cared for the injured. At a site called Shanidar in the mountains of Iraq, the archaeologist Ralph Solecki found a man who had survived for years with a withered arm, a crushed eye socket, and a damaged leg. Someone fed him, someone kept him alive. That is not the behavior of an animal. That is family. So here is the question that should keep you up at night. If they were that capable, that human, that close to you, why are you the one telling this story? The easy answers are all wrong. It wasn't that you were smarter. The fossil record gives no clean evidence that the Neanderthal mind was inferior. It wasn't that you were stronger, because you weren't. Their bodies were denser, their muscles thicker, their grip able to crush what yours cannot. It wasn't even a single war, a great extermination, a moment of conquest. The truth is quieter and far stranger. To find it, you have to look at the genome. In 2010, a Swedish geneticist named Svante Paabo did something that should have been impossible. He pulled DNA out of bones tens of thousands of years old and read the entire Neanderthal genetic code. The work was so radical it earned him a Nobel Prize. And buried in that code was a number that explains almost everything. Genetic diversity. That phrase sounds dull, so let it become real. It simply means how different the members of a population are from one another. Lots of variety means lots of different versions of genes spread across many people. Low variety means everyone is nearly the same. And the Neanderthals, Paabo discovered, had astonishingly low genetic diversity. They were inbred, not because of any failing, but because their world forced it on them. Think about how they lived. Small bands, maybe 10 to 30 people, scattered thinly across a brutal Ice Age landscape. Mountains between them, glaciers between them. Hundreds of miles of frozen nothing between one group and the next. A study of DNA from a Neanderthal community in a Siberian cave, led by Paabo's team and the geneticist Lauritz Skov, found something heartbreaking. The people in that cave were closely related. A father and his daughter. The women had come from elsewhere, but the groups were tiny, isolated, fragile. They lived their whole lives inside a handful of faces. Now hold that image while you look at your own ancestors, the people who became you. They were doing something the Neanderthals almost never did. They were connecting. This is where the anthropologist Polly Wiesner gives you the missing piece. For decades she lived among the Juhansi, one of the Kalahari San peoples of southern Africa, studying a custom called Hexaro. Hexaro is a gift exchange. You give a beautiful object, an arrow, a string of ostrich eggshell beads, to someone in a distant camp. There is no fixed price, no immediate return. What you are really buying is a relationship. Months or years later, when the rain fails in your land but not in theirs, you walk to that friend and you are fed. Wiesner mapped these networks and found single individuals with partners spread across thousands of square miles. The beads were not jewelry. They were insurance. They were a map of who would save your life. The anthropologist James Sussman, who spent years with the same people, describes this as the deep logic of human survival. Not strength, not even intelligence on its own. Connection, The ability to know someone over the horizon and to trust them before you ever need them. This is the thing your ancestors had, and the Neanderthals did not. Network, let me make it concrete. Stand for a moment in southern Africa 70,000 years ago at a place that really exists, a cave called Blombos on the Cape Coast. The archaeologist Christopher Henshelwood has spent his career digging here, and what he found rewrote the story of the human mind. Pieces of red ochre, a soft iron-rich stone, carefully scratched with deliberate cross-hatched patterns. The oldest known drawing made by a human hand. Shell beads pierced and worn smooth from hanging on a string. Tiny tools made with a technique that requires you to be taught step by step by someone who already knows. Now picture the person who made those beads. She sits near the cave mouth, working a shell against stone. Her fingers sure because her mother showed her, because her mother's mother showed her. She is not making them for herself. She is making them to give. To a cousin 2 valleys over. To a woman she met once at a gathering by the river. When she hands them across, she is reaching out a thread, and that thread is one of thousands stretching across the whole continent, connecting bands who will trade tools, trade marriages, trade ideas, and trade, without ever meaning to, their very survival. Because here is what a network actually does. When one of those distant bands invents a better blade, a better trap, a better way to catch fish, the idea does not die with them. It travels, it moves beat by beat, visit by visit, story by story, until it belongs to everyone. Researchers call this cumulative culture, knowledge that piles up across generations because it is shared faster than it is forgotten. A single group can invent. Only a connected web can remember. And now the twist, the part that turns this whole story over. The Neanderthals were not destroyed by their weakness. They were destroyed by their isolation. Annihilation looks exactly like safety from the inside. Every Neanderthal band was self-reliant. They needed no one. They survived on their own terms in the harshest places on Earth for 200,000 years, longer than your kind has yet existed. Their independence was magnificent. It was also a trap. When a small group invented something brilliant, the idea had nowhere to go. And when that group died in a hard winter, the idea died with them. They were not too few to live. They were too separate to learn. Every cave was an island, and islands forget. There is even evidence the connection ran the other way too, in the body itself. When your ancestors left Africa and met the Neanderthals, they interbred. You carry it now, roughly 1 to 2% Neanderthal DNA if your roots are outside Africa. And some of what they gave you was the gift of their immune system, gene variants tuned over millennia to the diseases of that northern world. Even in fading, they were absorbed into the network. They became, in the most literal sense, part of you. The connected lineage did not just outlast them. It took them in. So the craziest reason you are alive is not a weapon or a bigger brain. It is the bead on the string. It is the stranger your ancestor decided to trust. It is the idea that survived because someone bothered to pass it on. And you think this is ancient history. It is not. It is the operating system you are running right now. Look at your own life. The skill that earns your living, you did not invent. Someone taught you who was taught in a chain reaching back past every name you know. The food you eat tonight traveled through a network of hands you will never see. When trouble comes, and it will, the thing that carries you through is almost never your own raw strength. It is who you can call. It is the relationship you built before you needed it, the hexero gift you gave when the rain was still falling. The modern temptation is to become a Neanderthal, to be self-sufficient, to need no one, to pull inward and call it strength. The screen in your hand promises 1,000 connections and quietly delivers islands, each of us alone in a cave of our own making, certain we are safe. But the bones in the cold ground are a warning written in your own DNA. The strong and the brilliant and the independent are not the ones who inherit the world. The connected are. Your ancestor understood this without words. She handed the beads across and reached out a thread, and somewhere down that thread, across 70,000 years, the line ends at you. You wake up every morning carried by the dead. But now you know what they actually gave you. Not strength, not size, not even the cleverness you are so proud of. They gave you each other, the long unbroken thread of hands reaching out to hands, and the simple refusal to face the cold alone. The Neanderthals were everything you admire. They just stood apart, and that in the end is the whole reason you are here, to wonder why they aren't.